State your name, please, sir.
My name is Ezra Hainsworth, student body president of Dixie State University.
Awesome. And you're a student as well?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm a student.
great. And we are here today to talk about
Policy change. There is a policy currently up for review that is under the General Education Committee. That is comprised of several faculty and staff and a student representative, and they oversee any policy procedure regarding the general education system here at Dixie State University. One of the policies that is up for review and then they are trying to change or amend, I guess you could say, is they want to delete the policy or create one that says that the student on the committee is more of an honorary member and doesn't have any voting rights. This is obviously an issue because general education affects every student that ever comes through Dixie State University, and if there's not a student voice, then who's to say that they're not going to do something for the benefit of the students?
right. When you say they are trying to take away this policy or change it, who are you referring to by they?
They is the General Education Committee.
And how many people sit on the committee?
I would say between 8 and 12 people.
Okay. And why do you think it's important to have student representation on this committee?
It's important for student representation because, I mean, not just to give feedback, but as a voting member, it's important because if the student's voice isn't heard and accounted for, especially with something that affects every student that comes through Dixie State, it's not, I mean, there's no checks and balances that way.
Do you know who's sitting in this position right now?
Is the student fee, like, I mean, not student fee, but as the student representative?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Weston Zimmerman, the Vice President of Academics.
Okay. And are there things that the students or that Wes is doing to fight back against this?
Yeah, he's already made a suggestion to the Policy Reform Committee, as well as the committee that's overseeing that, so the General Education Committee, and also he has talked to the chairman of said committee.
What do you fear might happen if the students lose their representation on this committee?
Then it's the same, I mean, it's the same reason that there's a student that sits on the Board of Trustees. You need student voice to be able to voice the opinion that protects students and that allows them to have their voice at the table, because the student voice needs to be the loudest and the strongest, and if you're cutting that voice off from an important aspect of school and education, then like what are you doing for, you know?
Yeah. What do you fear might happen?
Like worst case scenario?
Yeah.
So let's say worst case scenario is that the fee excuse me, the fee, or not, I don't know why I keep on saying fees, the policy committee, review committee, that they say it's good, and then it will get put up to university council, which is then voted on, and that's made up of, I mean, the president and his cabinet, all the vice presidents, the faculty, senate, staff, association, presidency, deans, chair people, every auxiliary leaders, but then it would get pushed up to, after it's approved there, it goes to the Board of Trustees, where it's then approved for final yes or no. And if it were to get approved, which I mean, I'm not going to approve it by any means if it makes it up that far, just because that's ridiculous to assume that students don't deserve a voice on that committee. But worst case scenario, it passes by unanimous vote or by majority vote. Students will lose a lot of traction in the progress of their education.
Who is it exactly that's trying to take away this?
So the like the names.
Yeah. Is that something that you're allowed to say?
I mean, yeah, because it's a public committee. It's Aaron Ortiz and Nancy. She spoke at the Pizza Politics last Thursday.
Right.
Do you know her name?
the lady who was a professor or the director
Professor.
of diversity?
The professor.
Yeah, I remember who she was.
I've heard her name several times. I can't remember.
I can look
off the
it
top
up
of my
and
head.
put it in
Yeah, they're both
the
the ones that
advocates
are
for it.
pushing. Yeah.
Are there certain things that happened this year that you can remember where it was important to have the student voice heard?
Absolutely. I think one of the important things that has happened is, and this wasn't because there wasn't any student voice at all, but I mean, with fee allocation, with general student fees, I mean, there's a group of students that voiced their opinion and voiced what they felt needed to be heard, and it was listened to, and that's what was supposed to happen. I mean, it was a hard situation for a lot of people to be in, but it needed to happen, and I'm glad it did, because not only did we learn a lot as a student fee allocation committee, but also there will be more policy and procedure put in place because of this incident that will not only benefit the process of fee allocating, but also all entities involved with each fee that's up for review.
So just to be clear, this is strictly the student fee allocation committee.
Yeah.
And not another committee.
No. But another, I would say, something that I worked on since the beginning of the school year would be the steering committee for the New Human Health and Performance Center. And since its birth, I guess you could say, I've had a voice on the committee the entire time. There's a lot of things that are happening because of what I've been able to express that what students want. So the rooftop courts, the jacuzzi in the pool area, and the amount of court space we have, and a few other, like the rock wall and how tall it is. That's all things that students wanted, and that's things that students are getting.
Cool, thanks.
Good.